Coming up next, a late Christmas present for you. I've got a collaboration with another one of my favorite YouTubers out there. I watch him all the time. Famous rock star and one of the funniest guys in the business, Justin Hawkins. We connected when he toured through Salt Lake City with The Darkness recently, and we had a great hang. We discussed everything from our personal interactions with Corey Feldman, also bonded over getting copyright claims. We've both gotten plenty of them. But Justin shares a revelation in this one. He got one for using his own music. I pick his brain about his favorite songs of all time, his classic stadium anthem, I Believe in a Thing Called Love, and of course, jamming with his heroes. It is great fun. Let's do it. My phone started blowing up. Hey, Justin, talked about you on his video. Getting lots of copyright claims.
I enjoyed that moment, because I think, I'm not sure if you experienced the same thing, but then when all the reactors were uniting and reacting to the injustices of, what is our bread and butter.
I know.
And trying to sort of make some sort of living out of doing, just critiquing or anything,
right.
Or even just talking about music. That I probably made more money from that than critiquing the music.
Well, it was cool because within a day I heard from you and Rick Beato, and there was this community that came together. Yeah. It was a really cool feeling I felt unstoppable because I've got, if I've got Justin and Rick in my corner.
It's one of the first times, since I've been doing the YouTube thing where it felt like we were part of something noble and righteous and we're on the, you know what I mean?
It's true.
But I don't think any of us actually go out of our way to slag things off. It's not like, I think it's a really strange sort of attitude to have. Like, play 1 second of our music, then we'll come and get you. It's like, well, how's anybody supposed to find out about it if people like us aren't allowed to talk about the music? It was mad. So
I got like 18 claims the other day on a video about the top 10 songs of 1956. And a lot of people, I didn't realize this when I was doing the video, but that's 70 years ago. But the 50s have so many rich stories. Like, there's so many cool stories behind these songs. Anyway, I don't know how we get these stories out without using the music.
So maybe it's just like after 70 years, the sort of various estates of those artists are like, now it's our turn.
I think a lot of it is these big companies that come in and are buying, now it's owned by these funds and things like that own this music, right?
You think it's like those deals that people are doing when they're selling their entire catalogs?
Like Kiss.
They did one, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because somebody said to me, like, there's somebody in Nashville who would be interested in my catalog. It can't be enough. And I'm not old enough, because I think the number that they have to pay you has got to represent what you expect to make on your catalog from this moment until you die, plus a bit further on, like what's not the full 70 years or whatever it would be if you didn't do that, but enough to make it worthwhile for your children.
So if you ever used your own music in one of your own videos, would you get a copyright claim for your own?
That happens all the time. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Have you talked about that? I don't know if
I don't think so. I mean, the thing is, until you had your issues, I just sort of started to think, oh my God, this is becoming a hopeless endeavor. So in some instances, it's quite obvious that I've emotionally detached from it. And then I realized, well, actually, when I talk about these things, I might not make any money, but my subscriber base goes up.
Yeah.
And then maybe the economy of the YouTube thing is a touring economy. It's like, maybe I'm only doing that to promote the show, so I can go and do it live.
Yeah.
So I didn't really mind that I was getting all these strikes and I wasn't challenging anything. And it's only when like you and Rick and everyone was sort of like, we have to do something. It's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right. And then I thought, wow, that's actually a good point.
It's because like the Jedi is coming together.
Yeah,
against
but the thing is, I'm used to it in music, I think it like.
But I wanted to ask you that because I thought, I'll bet you he gets a copyright claim for his own music
every single time.
Which, by the way, for my viewers, please subscribe to Justin's channel. You'll love it. And I subscribed back during the pandemic because I've always been a big fan of The Darkness. But you've written and sung one of the greatest songs of all time, in my opinion. And it actually has been said to be one of the greatest songs of the century so far.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in a thing called Love.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel.
And I wanted to ask you about that because when your song, here's how I know when a song is big. Not only do I love it and know about it, but my kids and their friends know about it. Now, I've got a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old, and they both love that song, and their friends love it. And they saw it in the Fall Guy, right? It helps when it's in a big pop culture event or movie.
It does get synchronized for things on the regular, really.
Yeah.
It's one of those songs that you just write in about 10 seconds. Actually, it takes longer to listen to it than it took to write it.
Are you kidding me?
No, it was.
So tell me about that, because that is a song that I love the moment that it hit too, because music goes through these waves, right? You know, you got hair metal and glam metal, and then grunge comes in, and everybody mistakenly says that grunge took out hair metal, and I don't necessarily.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think hair metal took itself out.
Yeah, right.
You know.
But then like new metal and all the things that come in, and when I Believe in a Thing Called Love hit, people needed something like that, because new metal and then boy bands and pop and hip hop and all these things have their place, but sometimes people, I think we're in that moment right now, honestly. I think we're in that almost the same moment when grunge came in, where people are kind of tired of this pop stuff. And actually I read that for the first time in like 30 years, a rap song wasn't in the top 40. Yeah.
Really?
A rap or hip hop song. It was the
So
first
it's time for me to do my rap album then. Yeah. Capitalize on that gap in the market.
But that's when I Believe in a Thing Called Love hit at that moment where people were hungry for something and it was totally different. Tell me about it.
Well, I don't know. We had like a whole load of songs that we were confident about, and but we had no label. Nobody was interested in us, and we were releasing singles ourselves on a friend's kind of tiny imprint. And Growing on Me was another song from that first record, and that went to number 11. And at that point, I think it was kind of like this bidding war started of all the record companies. But we always felt like the song that we'd poured over and really cared about was Love Is Only a Feeling. It's like a ballad one. You know, it's got a proper poem in there, and I suppose it was a more painstaking writing process, and we felt like we'd distilled like the essence of the power ballad and made it this amazing thing. We were really proud of it. You know, there's 150 acoustic guitar parts on it and stuff like that. It's wild. Like we really thought that was the one. But everybody who listened to those early sort of recordings were like, oh no, that's the hit. You know, I Believe in a Thing Called Love is the hit. And so we didn't really realize what we had, you know. But when we played it live, just in pubs and stuff, and you know, the thing that we did at the beginning was like a residency in this one place in London. We just played it all the time, and so I think that really worked for us. And I think it would probably, whenever people ask me what they should do, I always say do a residency, because then if you're doing something that's like a little bit out there, and people are going to talk about it, they'll say, oh yeah, I saw this band the other day. And then they'll go, oh yeah, cool. Where are they playing next? And they'll go, oh. but if you're playing in the same place every week, it's like, yeah, they're going to be playing again in that place. And that really worked for us, you know. So like, our audience built up because we just kept playing this one place. And it wasn't a huge venue or anything like that. It's just, but by the end of like 3 or 4 performances, it was packed, and people were doing the clap at the right moment in that song. And that song was like, oh my God, we could actually feel it becoming a hit, you know, like as we played it, it was sort of evolving, you know, in front of an audience. And so what was already like a really high protein, low fat song. There's nothing extraneous in there really. Even though there's 3 guitar solos, you could argue that it could probably live without 2 or, you know what I mean?
That's what made it great.
Yeah, maybe that is, yeah. But,
I do.
But it's just like, we really felt it out in front of our crowd, you know, who we didn't, and it was people that we didn't know as well, like just a pub full of people that we started to recognize their faces and stuff, but it was we actually had a little fan base, you know, because of a residency. And that's a great place to actually road test and hone your material. And I don't think you get that when you do like second, third, subsequent records, unless you can really go and do an actual residency under a fake name or have a focus group, which is worse,
Right.
Because you don't want people to actually have input or ownership in what you're doing, but you want them to voluntarily come along just because of the music and not because of the personalities. And then you get a chance to write something that's as immediate and lasting as that, So we were lucky. I mean, I think I don't know whether it reflects the appetite of the masses, as you're suggesting, but I do think it's just something it became like a bullet, you know what I mean? It was absolutely impervious to criticism. You can't, what are you going to do?
I'm actually going to say you're wrong on that. Here's why, because I think that to write a song that everybody can sing together, it's a great sing-along, and 20 years later, people are still singing it. 20 years later, people are still talking about it. The next generation knows about it. That's a hit song. That's a classic. To me, that's a classic. To me. And
maybe it's a standard.
I mean, watching your channel, and you're so passionate about music, and you're not only a fan of music and great yourself, but you're a bit of a historian. I mean, you know a lot of stuff, and you're saying these things.
But I also make up a lot of stuff as well, though.
That's what we love about it. But what I love is that it had to be really, really cool for you to be a kid growing. I mean, I remember going in and looking at the Hot 100 in the record store that they had in my little small town, and listening to Casey Kasem every week. That was the guy that did the top 40 countdown, and writing them down in my Trapper Keeper, in the 80s, and memorizing them, and being so excited, willing that song to number one. But being a kid and then seeing your song on the charts, that you're right there with your heroes, and that had to be something really special for you.
Yeah, I mean, we still get that occasionally in the UK, because the other thing we did there was we did a Christmas song.
Yeah, the Christmas number one.
Yeah, but it never was a number one. It was actually kind of a narrow squeak. I think it came in at number 2.
Yeah, it did.
But the thing is, years after that, it's always kind of bothers the charts a bit in the UK. But there was one year when Queen, they did the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, and I really love this screenshot that I've got on my phone somewhere. And it's the top 10 rock chart for that Christmas. And Bohemian Rhapsody is number 2, and our song's number 1 in the year they did that movie. And it's like, thank you, Santa.
Being a number 2, because I believe in a thing called love, was number 2.
Yeah.
Mid-year told me something that I thought was right on when their song hit number 2, and it was held out at number 1, Vienna. I mean, Vienna is such a great song, one of the greatest songs of all time. It was held out at number 1 by Shut Up Your Face. Remember that?
Do you know what?
Novelty.
I owe Mid-year an apology, because I bought Shut Up Your Face.
You do.
By Joe Dolce. Yeah. Great song.
It's a nicer place. Shut up your face. That's my mama.
Novelty record that held Vienna out of number 1.
You could argue that the Vienna was also a novelty record, though, couldn't you?
I don't know.
I don't know. Novelty just means new, doesn't it? It just means new.
That's true.
Novelty is a word that's it's been bastardized and turned into something negative, but in its
like
essence,
how
it
much
just
is
means...
that doggy in the window is what they put novelty with a little bit.
Yeah, they do, don't they?
How much is that doggy in the window?
I've always heard novelty of being, kitschy and whatever, but he said, you know what, if we would have hit number 1, he said, nobody would talk to me about this song as much as they do, because we hit number 2, it's more memorable. People remember it.
Really? I think imagine if Ultravox had gone to number 1, then you'd be having that conversation with Joe Dolce. Because there's nothing wrong with that song.
It's true. Yeah.
What's the matter, you? Hey!
Yeah.
What's the matter, you? Hey!
Well,
that was actually the first single I bought. That and Shakin' Stevens is This Old House.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The first that you bought as a child?
I don't know which one came out first. It was those are the 2 first singles I bought, yeah.
saw your video on Husker Du and the Smiths, and I love Husker Du. I think Bob Mould is one of the great writers of our time. And
He's
another
a genius.
band,
You can't listen to that band and not think about the influence they had on things like Foo Fighters. It's impossible to ignore it.
right?
Isn't
Husker Du, like when did you first hear them, and tell me about,
it? I'm going to really shock you now.
okay.
I've never listened to them.
Really?
Yeah, never listened
Are
to
you
them.
being
yeah.
serious?
Yeah, yeah. That was me. That's my producer doing a brilliant bit of research and making it seem like I knew what I was talking about. I'm good at bluffing stuff. I could have bluffed it then. Let's try bluffing it. I feel like the first time I heard Husker Du was probably a month ago when I was in Minneapolis.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Well, Celebrated Summer is a song you should go check out. Thing about Bob Mould is that he was, like Celebrated
Well,
Summer.
I knew
is a
Sugar.
song- Yeah.
That's more.
The 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my brother and I have got sort of contrasting music tastes, and I'm really into anything that involves virtuoso guitar playing,
Sure.
for better or worse. And I like weird stuff as well. I like anything that's sort of a bit progressive, and I'm into cardiacs and stuff like that that's out there.
Pretty deep, scrapey clean, with a wind-up machine.
And I love a lot of stuff in between, and I'm really obsessed with Stones and the classics and all that kind of
Of
thing.
course.
But he was very much into, so Foo Fighters would have been way more on his radar, and therefore Husker Du, and a lot of the sort of more shoegazy stuff from the 90s, which didn't connect with me because I was getting into industrial and stuff like that. But between us, we had like a fairly expansive.
It's like industrial.
knowledge.
What kind of stuff in industrial?
I like things like Young Gods. Ministry and Nine Inch Nails and all that
Knights
stuff.
of Reb and-
Well, when it first came up, there was like a couple of guys who were like, you would probably describe them as nerds now, but they were really into like early sampling and trying to use that in a rock context, that were just from my hometown, and I ended up playing in bands with people like that, and yeah, I got really fascinated by it, and I would have loved to have tried to make some industrial. Maybe I still will.
You should.
It's time. My
So-
industrial rap album.
What about Morrissey, the Smiths?
I feel like his, I always say the word oeuvre, but to include like his solo stuff, I think it's really important. I love that record, that Boner Drag one, which is kind of a compilation of bits and pieces.
All the,
Yeah, but I think there's amazing stuff on there. I love Every Day is Like Sunday. Hairdresser on Fire. Last of the Famous International Playboys. Just think all that stuff's incredible. And I love the Smiths as well.
The Smiths, that's my favorite band of all time.
Is it?
It
Oh,
is.
it's amazing.
I got to ask you, though, kind of switching gears a little bit about Corey Feldman. Because
Sorry, I was remembering something funny. I wasn't laughing at it.
Because I have a Corey Feldman story as well.
Oh, I'd love to hear your Corey
I
Feldman
actually
story.
interviewed him. And there's a reason why it hasn't been released on my channel.
Is it because he took all of his clothes off and started crying?
No.
Because that's what's about to happen here.
He didn't want to talk about anything that people would want to watch on the channel, right? You're going to interview Corey Feldman. You want to talk about Stand By Me. You want to talk about E.T. You want to talk about...
Goonies.
Yeah, Goonies, exactly. All the stuff that we grew up on. And I'm going to talk about his music,
Lost
his
Boys?
performance art. Exactly, Lost Boys. Great actor, right?
Yeah. I think, and you know my
The
feelings on
word
this.
great is overused, so maybe I'll say...
No. In this instance, it's justified.
It's true. I mean, Corey
Because I
Feldman
believe, and I firmly believe, that this whole thing is part of a wider kind of method acting.
yes.
It's performance art, yeah,
It is.
absolutely. And I think it's
And
some
I
of the
watched
most
your
masterful.
reaction to his video.
And that is a really cool move. Actually, Hasselhoff-esque.
I don't think I've laughed that hard in about 4 or 5 years.
He is a genius. And I'm completely, you know that thing of the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing us that it's calamity, right. And it's not like
Usual suspect.
It's organized. Like a friend of mine went to see, and she was showing me some footage of like the video wall that's happening behind him. It was in like a venue, probably a bit smaller than the one we're playing tonight. Probably by choice, but the video walls sort of went up the sides and came across the top.
Yeah.
And whatever software they used to populate those panels had failed, and it was just like a Windows desktop with a mouse pointer, and people were cheering when the mouse pointer was sort of moving around, you know. And that has to be deliberate.
I know.
All that stuff, you know, because it's like, how many things? And it isn't true, that thing that he was saying when he was on that Billy Corgan thing. He was saying like, and I don't care anymore because I've been trying to sort of backtrack a bit from the things that I said because I wanted to interview him.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'll tell you why afterwards. But the stuff he was saying on Billy Corgan about like, you know what it's like, you know, when you're touring for a while, and then things go wrong, and it's like that isn't.
You hit your tooth on the microphone. How many times that happened? And you could tell that Billy Corgan was Billy's good, you know, very trying to ease into it. But then he says, no one's performative. It's all performative. You're like, exactly. That was the best part of the whole thing. But no, I respect that. But the one thing that he said, and David Crosby said this as well in an interview, and I was like, it can't be helped. But they both said, nobody cares about Goonies. They care about is my new album or my you know, and David Crosby said that nobody cares about Crosby, Stills and Nash or the Byrds. They care about my new album. And I had to say, no.
Yeah, that's not true.
No, I mean, yeah, we care about your new album, but we also want to hear about the things that are tied to our childhood and our innocence and the things
but if you care about his new album, it's because you care about the other stuff more, you know.
Exactly. And I wish that they could just admit that, but I just had to ask you about that. I don't want to cause any trouble.
The funny thing was, so we played in LA on this run that we're on now, and we played at the Wiltern. And I thought, well, being in LA, it might be a good idea to sort of have a sit down with Corey Feldman and actually do like a chat with him. And so we have been in sort of back and forth talks with his management and stuff. But then they said, yes, we can do that if Corey Feldman comes and performs with The Darkness. I was like,
oh my gosh.
I mean, it can't. I mean, so I had to explain to them that the two things, there may be some overlap.
Yeah.
And one hand washes the other. They're good for each other, but it's like, there's absolutely no way that the rest of the guys would tolerate that. No. I mean, I would do it for a laugh, but there's no way, you know.
Yeah. Well,
because whilst I have nothing but the utmost respect for his work as an artiste, they think he's shit. No, not mentioning any names, but it is I mean, as an artiste, I really do think he's great.
Well, I got to ask you last, because we got to wrap up, because I promised your tour manager I'd have you down.
We can go on a little bit longer if you want.
But you know what, Brian, I want to ask you about, because you were such an AC/DC guy growing up, the fact that you got to live a little bit of that dream by performing Back in Black.
I had no idea that was going to happen as well.
I mean, how cool is that?
I hated
that moment.
I've got to say, I hated it because the other things I did on that day, I'd prepared for.
Yeah, and
I was like, I'd learnt this stuff. The Van Halen stuff was important to me. Singing with Queen was obviously amazing.
Sure,
and you know, I was geared up to play whatever they wanted me to do. I mean, when Dave Grohl was putting that thing together, I think he was like, okay, if there's anything that's difficult to sing or difficult to play, we'll get Justin to do it. And, I was like, and that's literally what he said to our drummer, Rufus. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm down for anything. I was kind of dreading the phone call because it was like I didn't know how much I'd have to do. But at no point was AC/DC mentioned. No point. And then just before they went and did that bit, Brian came over and said, Justin, you got to help me sing the you know, I was like, I don't know the words. Someone give me the word, you know. I had no idea what I was doing. But it actually yielded an amazing photograph of me and Brian singing at Wembley Stadium. And how many people can say that, you know?
I know.
It's, if you can just distill it to the photograph, then it's an amazing moment. but I was annoyed with myself for not hiding. I should have hidden, because I'd given a great account of myself for the rest of the day, and then that's the one. But the picture was great. Sorry, you know, you got to take the rough with the smooth.
All-time bragging rights to be able to perform that, one of the greatest songs of all time. Your top 5 albums of all time. Now, I know this is a hard one, but see, I actually did something the other day. I've never done this before. My favorite album, my favorite songs of all time, classic rock songs of all time. That was tough. And I picked Born to Run by Springsteen as my number 1.
Okay.
But you know, isn't there usually like 2 or 3 lists in your mind? Is this how you are? For me, it's like the songs that I consider to be the greatest songs of all time because of their production and everything that went into that. But also my favorite songs of all time because they connect me to something. But that's the
only one you can really answer, though.
Right. And then there's kind of the third one, which is songs that I can listen to over and over again and never get tired of. Yeah. But it's not necessarily my favorite song of all time.
Okay.
So there's like 3 lists, and it's like that with movies too, because I can't watch The Godfather every day, but I consider that to be the greatest movie of all time. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
What are your 5? Your 5 favorite?
Are we saying albums or songs?
Let's do both.
That's way more difficult. Albums is easy.
All right. Give me your best shot here.
Exile on Main Street, numero 1. Exile.
Awesome. Yeah, great.
I love that record. I still listen to it all the time. I'm going to put Excitable Boy in there.
Really?
Yeah, I think, but maybe 4 or 5. Power Age, AC/DC. Jazz, Queen. No, that's the difficult one. I'd put one Queen one in there, but it's either going to be Sheer Heart Attack or Jazz, or Night at the Opera. Night at the Opera is the obvious one. Sheer Heart Attack is probably the truest one, but Jazz is the one that I grew up with. So if it's just my favourite, I'd say Jazz. And that leaves just one.
You got one left.
Rumours.
Yeah. The Mac.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that. All right, so your songs. Can you do your 5 songs? Is that possible? It was really hard for me. But anyway, go ahead. Your 5 songs.
Madman Across the Water by Elton
Really?
John. Just because of the Paul Buckmaster string arrangement, because it's outrageous.
So good.
Can't You Hear Me Knocking?
Oh, that's actually in my
From
top
Sticky
3.
Fingers.
That's one of my top. Yeah, that's in my top 3 songs.
Joe Dolce, Shut Up Your Face.
Are you being serious?
Because it kept Ultravox off and, and therefore made the Ultravox one a more enduring classic. So by proxy, you know. No, I'd say, okay, if I had to choose a Queen song.
Yeah, which Queen song?
One of the Curiosity ones, like probably Good Old Fashioned Lover Boy, something like that. Something that that's rock, Jim, but not as we know it kind of thing. Wasted Time by the Eagles.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's a massive.
I would never guess that.
The reason why I love that song is because I play a lot of covers and I muck around and I do stuff and people, you know, whenever people say to me, they sneeringly say because the Eagles had that sort of perfect sheen and it's almost too good for people to actually sort of believe in, if you know what I mean. Like
the Big Lebowski type stuff, right? Where it says, I hate the Eagles.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that hold that view.
Oh, I love Eagles.
Yeah, I do as well. And I think it's difficult to hate them really, but
no.
I don't understand it.
Peaceful, Easy Feeling is one of my favorites by them. It's so great. I mean, Hotel California.
And there's the Jackson Brown connection as well, isn't there?
Take It Easy. And
But Wasted
Time's a great one.
Yeah, when people think they don't like the Eagles, I play them Wasted Time. And if I sing it, so you know it's not Don Henley, it's like, that's a beautiful song. Who is that? It's the Eagles, you idiot. And it's on their biggest album. Right. So I love that one. So good it deserved a reprise, an orchestral reprise on the same record. It's amazing.
The autumn leaves that got you thinking.
Okay, so the last one. Shit. It came to me just now. Oh, yeah. Wildflower by The Cult.
Really?
Why
Oh,
not?
that's a great one. That's a great
I love
pick.
the Cult.
So what was a moment that was jazz the moment where you, because everybody has that moment where as a kid you hear something and you feel like I say it like this, it's a little dramatic, but it's true. You feel like you're busting out of prison. Like you feel like you're free for the first time in your life. And for me, that was Born to Run. That's kind of my thing that helped me. But what was yours? What was the moment where you were like, I got to do this, or I've got to this? It just moved you in a way that you felt free.
I think there's a band that I'm not supposed to like, but they did that. It's when I discovered Led Zeppelin. It was
Really?
kind of like, yeah, because everyone was listening
Yeah.
to Led Zeppelin. It's like, okay, I get Led Zeppelin, it's okay, but that's a prison in its own way. There's such reverence for those riffs and the way that thing's performed. And then the blueprint for rock and roll is quite restrictive. And if you try and
Sure.
do anything that's sort of outside of it, then it's kind of like. But then you've got a band that comes along, actually has major label releases doing the stupidest thing you can do. Like reggae versions of Led
Yeah.
Zeppelin songs with an Elvis impersonator singing. And for me, that was like, oh my God, you can do anything.
Drive on ship to a new land.
It's
that
freedom.
makes sense.
You know, so that really is like the breakthrough thing. And then Cardiacs, they weren't trying to make hits. They're doing really impressive stuff. They can really play. Do you know Cardiac stuff?
Yeah, I do.
So On Land and In the Sea and Little Man in the House and The Whole World Window, those two records changed my life completely.
I love
Because
that.
those people are just like, I can't work out if it's punk or prog or it's probably a bit of both. And there's a little bit of the affectations of Robert Smith and the kind of the Cure in there as well.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe a bit of Dexy's Midnight Runners. And they were making concept albums that made no sense at all.
Yeah.
And building this entire universe around it. I really enjoyed covering the recent Cardiacs releases because obviously they're done. It's stuff that was worked on at the end of Tim Smith's life. And then Venart, he's really interesting. And I think that they've done it super faithful to the Cardiacs listening experience. And I'm really happy that they're back and doing stuff.
Well, you talk about Led Zeppelin, and we all understand how great Zeppelin is. But it's interesting to get different people's perspective and how they grow up and what they listened to and what spoke to their heart and their minds. But I was interviewing Brian Setzer, Stray Cats.
Mm-hmm.
One of the greatest guitarists ever. And I was just like, oh, I'm not worthy kind of thing, because I love Setzer. He said something that just blew my mind. Because, Robert Plant was on Letterman, and Letterman asked him, who are your influences? And he said, the King, and of course the King, and he's naming all these blues legends. And he said, and Brian Setzer. And you're like, Led Zeppelin, this name check, Brian Setzer.
Wow.
Setzer came like 20 years after it was over,
Yeah.
or 10 years after Zeppelin had broken up, But he said something about it. He said, the whole prog rock thing that was going on, Zeppelin and Floyd, I couldn't relate to it. He's like the wizards and magical balls and things. He's like, he was in the punk rock, and that spoke to him, and rockabilly and the 50s. And you're thinking, it's just so interesting how people grow up and different things speak to their heart. So I gotta let you go, but I gotta ask you the final question I always ask in every interview I've done from the very beginning.
Okay.
What are you most grateful for in this moment? I think gratitude's so important with this crazy world, this divisive world we live in, but what is your...
It's hard to choose one thing. We've been on the road for 3 months. We've got 2 more dates to do.
Yeah.
That's pretty grueling. So there's a lot of things that I'm grateful for, like the team around this touring party.
Yeah.
And the support that I've got, because it's like, I don't think it's difficult. I don't think it's easy for anybody to do this stuff, but
Yeah.
as a singer, you've got to try and keep yourself healthy, and you need to be pampered. So I've got people all around me just making sure that I don't really do anything for myself.
And you're doing a YouTube channel at the same time.
Well, on my days off, I'm kind of
Jeez.
I'm shooting stuff. And
You are.
I don't really have a day off, as it were. I'm either traveling or working in some capacity.
Yeah.
So it's been a really challenging 3 months, and I couldn't have done it without the people around me. So I'm grateful for that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm also sort of weirdly pleased with like I'm grateful for just like the looks of wonder on the faces of the front row. It's actually really you know, we're not here for, I mean, sometimes I wonder why we're in the States, because I think like we're playing smaller places, and I wonder if like when you see pictures of us playing in these smaller places, whether it enhances our reputation or damages it.
Right.
In the UK, that's a power territory for us. We're going to be doing arenas, you know, we do big stuff there, and it's growing all the time. We go to Australia and we can't sell enough tickets, you know, like we always sell so many tickets and we can't do enough shows.
Right.
It's like for some reason some of the Anglophonic territories that are important to us really work, and this is one of the ones where we haven't been here enough to make it work. So, and I'm like, we haven't got a label that puts stuff out here. We haven't got like dedicated team of individuals that are fighting for us out here. Why are we here? You know, I wonder that. But then when I get out there and I see their faces, I'm like, oh, that's why we're here.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for anyone who shows up to see us. Grateful for your visage, and just the people around me.
Well, I got to tell you that I got to give you a couple compliments before we go. I think you're so great at off the cuff. I love watching your stuff because of that, because it comes from a real place. I don't feel like I'm watching somebody who's making a bunch of crap up, which I know but it's real. It's just coming from you. I've always appreciated that about you. But I also think you're an incredible singer, and I've always appreciated your music. And it's just nice to meet somebody who is a rock star, but who is a genuinely good person. I feel that about you, and I appreciate the support this summer. Meant so much because there was a moment where I really did. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. It's bullshit. I'm tired of fighting these guys.
Well, that's the thing. When you were saying that, it was kind of like that's when it hit me. I was like, you know, there's people who are more or less sort of institutions in this. You're one of them.
Thank you.
And to sort of hear that level of frustration is like, shit, this is how we should all be reacting to it, you know. So it inspired me to.
But then the second that you
kick on,
I felt that support from you and Rick Beato. It's like I felt like I could take on the world. And it's actually been worse since a little bit in some ways, but I've continued on because that pushed me over the top to say, you know what, there's other people who are dealing with what I'm dealing. It's worth it. Music is worth it. Music is the great connector. To me, there's nothing that connects us more in this divisive time. And to be able to kind of be... I
always say it's the art form that all other art forms strive to be.
It's so true.
You know.
And to be shoulder to shoulder with guys like you and Rick, you know, taking it on and also putting out content because we believe in it. We believe in this music. We believe in sharing these ideas. And those are powerful things. So thank you, man.
Thanks.
You're a good man.
You are.
Appreciate it.
Come to me. Come to me.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, no, you didn't hit right here.
No,
you're good.
I knew there was an incision point.
Justin Hawkins, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks, man. That was awesome.